Hey guys, it's Bob Hertzog. I'm the team success manager over at my home group and also the owner of Bob Hertzog Coaching. And today I've got Dillon Martin joining us. Dillon is the team leader for the Doug Hopkins team, a team that moved over to my home group probably about a year ago, right, Dillon? Wouldn't you say? Has it been a year yet?
Yep.
Yep, right
July
around a year.
of last year.
July of last year. So they've been with us for about a year now. And, you know, with my role as as the team success manager and helping teams out at my home group, I get to meet, you know, we have close to 100 teams at my home group. And there's definitely a certain few that stand out that I get to meet with where I just think, wow, these guys, they've really nailed it. And the Doug Hopkins team is definitely one of them. So, you know, Dillon, I appreciate you coming on today and sharing with us some of your ideas and what you're seeing out there as a team leader, and hopefully, you know, other existing or aspiring team leaders out there will watch this video and pick up some good hints. And then maybe there's some agents out there that will stumble across this as well that might like what they hear and want to talk to you some more about, you know, possibly joining your organization. So anyway, I'll just, you know, have you kind of take it from here and just give us a little background on you and where you started. You know, were you originally here from Arizona, and just lead us up to that point where you finally, you know, at that point in your career when you joined Doug Hopkins and his group. So take it away.
Yeah. Well, to start from the jump, I'm born and bred here in Mesa, Arizona. My family's a real estate family. My grandfather moved here in the early 70s. He was a mortgage guy. He owned Venture Financial, which was a huge FHA player, 70s, 80s, 90s. I think they shut it down early 2000s. But did a huge volume of business. They had 8 different branches across the valley. So I definitely say that I stand on the shoulders of giants that have come before me. I'm not some pioneer in my family that nobody has ever done anything like this before. I have uncles and aunts and cousins that are in the real estate space as well. So it's been a huge example to me of others that have come before. But family is from here. I graduated from Mesquite High School in 2010, and I immediately started working for Doug. So you asked, when did I join the Doug Hopkins team? I joined when I was 18, and I looked like I was 12.
Well, you still look like you're about 15. So you're aging well. So no kidding, you right out of high school, you joined Doug then. He was your first place that you hung your license with.
Yeah, I didn't get licensed until a few years later. Doug, back then, we were just buying foreclosed homes. So he owned an entity called Posted Properties, and it was basically a bidding service that helped people buy foreclosed homes for a flat fee. And Doug had done foreclosures before the crash, and so he was completely set up so that when the crash happened, he had all of his ducks in a row to truly scale that business, and became one of the premier people to help people buy foreclosed homes, you know, through the 2007, 2008 crash up until we transitioned to the model that we're currently in, which is directly to seller.
Right. What year was that you were helping him with the foreclosures then?
2010. I started as a gopher, and whatever he told me to go for, I did it. Right. And I was a driver and a bidder. So I would wake up at 4 a.m. and I'd go drive and take photos of all these homes that were set to be sold at trustee sale. And I would walk steps in Maricopa County with hundreds of thousands of dollars in cashier's checks, scared to death that I was going to get mugged and robbed, and we would bid on these properties. So from 18 years old, I jumped into a point of real estate that very few people got to be a part of, got to rub shoulders with some fantastic people. And that's truly the launch pad of what brought us here is those foreclosed homes. Obviously, we've continued to move and adapt with the market. We're doing something much different than we are today, but that was my beginning, if you will.
I remember I was doing short sales at that time, 2008, 2009, 2010. And I had friends that dabbled a little bit in the courthouse step deal that you guys were doing, where you literally went and bid on these properties. And I remember one of my clients was a guy that he tried to go in there kind of as his own deal. I mean, he didn't have any experience with it. And I remember him calling me saying, I'll tell you what, that is the craziest thing I've ever done in my life. He said, there are people there that they like team up against you almost. There were the guys that were there all the time kind of work together to keep the new guys out, right? There were he just told me there were probably a half dozen, maybe more guys that were just super experienced, and they just kind of, I don't want to say they colluded, and I don't know that Doug was a part of this or anything else, but there was just like this group of people that you would see every day at the same people over and over. Is that pretty much how you remember it?
Totally. I mean, the same people were there every single day. Everybody knew each other. And Doug has stories of when he started bidding at the courthouse about how cutthroat it was, how they were trying to cut him out and make him lose money so that he wouldn't continue to be a competition for them, right? So it's for sure that type of way, you know, and even in anything, especially in real estate, it's a cutthroat business. You know, people are after for the same clients, right? The same homes, same houses. And your value proposition has to be better. Your experience, your procedures, talent, etc. And success leaves clues. Doug left all those guys in the dust. You know, in the course of that time, he helped people acquire, helped buy 15,000 properties, a staggering figure. He was on the Discovery Channel on a show called Property Wars that a lot of people still remember him from.
Yep. Yeah, there were what, 4 or 5 people on that, and they'd run around and buy these homes and stand out in front of them. And I remember he was one of them. He was one of my favorite guys on the show because he was just a normal dude. He wasn't like some of the other guys on there were pretty slimy, and he was just like your normal guy that did his own thing. It was pretty cool. It was a fun show. It was always amazed me. People would ask me that weren't in the business that were watching that show. They'd say, how do these guys get the keys so quick? And they'd always ask questions like, and you could tell it was very Hollywood the way they had it set up. But man, that was a popular show. And there was one guy in that show, maybe a guy from California or something, that ended up getting into a bunch of trouble afterwards with the law, wasn't there? Or do you remember something? Oh yeah. There was one guy in particular that really got nailed for something really bad.
I don't remember the gentleman's name, but he's in prison. He was on another TV show called American Greed, where they did a whole special.
That's right.
Doug was on that as well. But yeah, this just absolute fraud. It caused a lot of harm. Somebody lost his life because of it. So really bad scenario. And that guy was on the show. So again, you just go back to success leaves clues. If you do things wrong, it's going to catch up to you.
Yep. And there was some crazy stuff going on back then, man. I remember people having shootouts, right? The guy would show up, buy a property at the auction and show up to evict someone that's in that house, and literally people getting shot at and all kinds of crazy stuff. It was the Wild West there for a while. So let's, once you got through that period and we started to come out of the foreclosure stuff, what was your next move with Doug? What did you do after that?
So we transitioned. So DougHopkins.com transitioned from foreclosures. They sold their bidding service to a competitor, and they transitioned to marketing directly to seller, right? So we spend, it started off small, obviously, but we spend now close to $500,000 a month in advertising directly to seller. And we do it with a ton of different methods. We have, of course, tons of social media, tons of pay-per-click, lots of direct mail. We have signs, we have, billboards, we have television ads, we have a weekly radio show, we have radio show partnerships, and we do a ton of advertising to be, one of the main people that say, hey, if you're looking to sell your home cash, we are those guys, right?
Right.
And the big pitch of why we're different than everybody else is that we don't play any games. Most of these competitors, the big guy buyers, right, Open Door, OfferPad, and others, they start off with a sexy offer, and then they kill you with all their convenience fees and repairs and closing costs and service fees, etc. Whereas we don't do that.
Right.
We put up, non-refundable earnest money. We don't do inspections, repairs, appraisals, financing, anything. We'll close as fast as 3 days or as long as 90 days, right? Depending on the deal. We'll let you stay in the home after. So it's a vastly different program than a lot of other people run. And what they run is a safer one, right? They don't lose a whole lot because they can just back out of any contract that they sign. Whereas us, our name means everything. So that was the big transition from foreclosures to marketing directly to sellers. And where I really got involved in a big way again was early 2018. So about 5.5 years ago. Doug tapped me on the shoulder and he said, hey, we have a huge amount of business that we're doing. We're helping a lot of sellers sell their home cash, right? No commission, no fees, no closing costs, etc. And we're flipping these homes, right? We need to provide another solution though, because we have, close to 80% of the people that we don't buy their home, they're listing their home within 6 months.
Yep.
Right. So a huge portion of those people, obviously, if they can't get the cash offer that they want, they end up listing it on the market.
Right.
And he said, I think that there's an opportunity here. You should come over and build this out and go after these people. And I think that you can get, 2 or 3 listings a month doing that. Right. And so at the time I was actually I was running a different team. I was running a property management division out of Keller Williams East Valley. I was a part of the ALC. I had a salary. It was a cushy, awesome, influential place to be. I felt super appreciated. I had a great business partner that I was working with. And to leave that and to come back and go with Doug was honestly like pretty scary. Right?
Yeah.
We were going, man, I have a great position here. I got paid based on revenue that I generated. It was residual income, right? There's a lot of attractive pieces to that. And Doug was a big question mark. These people reaching out for these cash offers, they don't want to list their home.
Right.
That's why they're reaching out to Doug, right? They don't want to do that. And so I negotiated a salary with Doug. We negotiated the percentage of commission, and I came over and we came up with this entire plan to make that happen. And within 10 days of me coming over with Doug, we kicked the whole thing out of the can. I got rid of my salary. I renegotiated my whole deal. I saw the opportunity for what we could do here. And I said, hey, let me take this and run with it. And fast forward to today, and we've built out an incredible program that enables sellers to maximize the value of their profit and select whatever option they want. Whereas before we just had a cash offer, and that was all that sellers could really do.
Right.
We basically said, hey, we are already selling, hundreds of properties a year on our own that we flip. Right. So we know a thing or two about listing houses. And we coined the program, our launch program. And what we do is we basically plug a seller into the same tools, systems, and models that we're selling our own homes with, all for a discounted commission. So we meet directly with sellers and present those options, and they pick whatever works best for them based on their condition, timeline, and how much money they want to make.
Right.
And go ahead.
When you guys came up with this option, right, of listing the home or paying cash for it, what year do you think that was when you first rolled that out?
2018. So Doug brought me on. Yeah, Doug brought me on in early 2018, and he said, "Hey, if you could get, I think you could get 2 or 3 listings a month, which was a lot, right, at the time." And quickly that started to become 100 transactions a year just for myself.
Right.
So,
crazy.
For the last 3 years, I've done 100 transactions all on my own. I have a transaction coordinator, and that's it, right?
Wow.
And so we were doing such a volume that's really when the team aspect came into an effect. We ran into a great problem, right? I was too busy. I didn't have any more, juice to squeeze from this orange, no more time in the day. And that's really when scaling took a priority for us. Mm-hmm. We only had 3 people that would go out and meet with sellers. We had Doug, myself, and Josh Barton. That's it. Covering the whole valley, servicing, hundreds, thousands of people a year. And it was just 3 people going out and getting face to face with folks.
Yeah. So all 3 of you went out there and rolled out the plan together then. I mean, each of you went into the meeting now with 2 options for sellers. Or did Doug just kind of stick to his guns and say, I'll buy your house or take it or leave it type of thing? Were they in there talking listings?
Everybody had the options, but the way that we position appointments is by getting the right person in front of them. So for example, let's say that there's a home in poor condition and it wouldn't be able to meet an appraisal or lending standards. That's not something that Doug would go on, more likely than not, because that's more going to be a cash offer situation. Whereas you look at the reverse and you have somebody that calls in and says, "Hey, I just did $100,000 remodel on my home. I'm looking for maximum dollar value." Guess who's going to that home? Yeah. I'm going to that home.
Right.
Because more likely than not, that's going to be a traditional option that's going to be the best fit for that seller. So we have, an intake team that's fantastic, that live answer every phone call, that are able to go over and listen and help determine who goes on those appointments. So if it's more likely to be a traditional option, right, I would be the one that went. If it's more likely to be a cash solution, right, based on the condition, it would more likely to be Josh or Doug that went out. So I mainly handled all of the traditional real estate. Doug and Josh did very little.
Right, exactly. So basically, your little fork in the road, so to speak, to go all in on just being an entrepreneur and taking that risk on, and of this new program happened when you were at KW and you had that property management position, the cushy job with the salary and so forth. And there's always that point that people realize really that they really truly are an entrepreneur when they have to make that decision. Right. And it comes in different people's careers. And sometimes you just have to go with your gut. And a guy named Dan Sullivan, who I follow, and strategic coach, he talks about the 4 C's that entrepreneurs go through when it comes to making a move or taking on a new project or a new way of doing things. And it starts with commitment, right? And then it leads to the commitment. After that, courage is required. Okay, where you're kind of nervous and scared and don't know what you're doing, but hoping for the best. And then, you get through that courage phase and you get to capability. You have the capability to do it. It starts to show that, in your case, you had that thought in your head that, gosh, these people don't want to list their homes. The only reason they're calling us is they just want that cash offer. Well, they don't know what they don't know. And until you guys get in front of them and legitimately give them 2 options, I mean, right then you've got a meeting out of your hand, because you're now taking that position of, Joe Polish says it, what's in it for them. It's not what's in it for you, it's what's in it for them. And you are becoming, another thing he calls about is a pain detective. Okay. You're finding out what their pain is and trying to prescribe something that works for them.
Totally.
And Yeah. So, and then, once you get past the capability part of it, the fourth C that Dan Sullivan talks about is the confidence. Now you have the confidence to go into any appointment and know that, I bet it's pretty rare that armed with that strategy, you're told, we're not interested in either one of those options. Unless someone's just kicking the tires, and you're going to get those that time wasters and people that just want to kind of go fishing and see what they can catch. But man, what other options are there other than, no, I'm just going to stay in my house now. It's not going to be, well, I'm going to call Open Door or OfferPad that they're just going to offer me the cash deal. This guy's looking out for my best interest. So I think it's just such a great strategy to be able to go in with those options. So obviously totally. It's worked well for you.
Definitely. And we partner with agents all over the Valley. Close to 20% of the homes that we buy cash are sent to us from other agents. So
wow.
We're proud to have a lot of agent partners that put huge amount of trust in us. You can look at there's a big forum on Facebook that you're a part of. I think you're one of the admins of. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of negative things that people say about cash offer companies. There's a lot of new LLCs out there that are hurting people, that are changing terms last minute, etc. Mm-hmm. And, over and over, you'll have people that will come to bat for us that say, hey, if you need a cash offer and a local guy that's not going to cancel, call us. Right. So, well,
because agents want what's best for their client. Okay. And
totally.
if they screw their client, they're going to lose their license. So, there's that incentive as well. But the bottom line is, I can tell you right now that when you watch Doug's commercial on TV, where he absolutely nails it is where he says that I'm going to give you a $5,000 earnest money deposit, and it's non-refundable from day one. We're doing the deal.
Non-refundable.
And to have the balls to say that, that's huge. Because again, it goes back to looking for those pain points, and people have heard enough crap out there now about these companies that do this, that tie them up, especially the ones that really get the bad rap are the wholesalers. Okay. And it got so bad that there's a new law in the books that has all kinds of disclosure requirements that are now required of anyone wanting to wholesale a property. If you're watching this, don't know what I'm talking about. Wholesaling is basically just tying the property up and then marketing it and trying to sell it before you get to the close of escrow date to somebody else. And all kinds of horror stories about those guys. So no, and I've had the opportunity to meet with Doug a few times, and everyone, like if I'm at a friend's house or my folks' house and that commercial comes up on the TV, my kids, my wife, they're, hey, that guy. And now I said, well, I know the other guy, the one that looks like he's 14 years old right there, Dillon. I know him too. But people ask me, well, what's he like? Is he slimy? Because, you think commercials, and I'm not going to go into name names, but there's certain individuals that do a lot of commercials, especially when it comes to real estate, that just have horrible reputations. And I just tell them, no, the guy is the most down-to-earth, normal person you'll ever meet. He's just an honest, regular dude that likes to go to his favorite hangout and eat wings and drink beer and hang out with people, right? And just a solid guy. So,
and he does it because he loves it. That's the part that most people don't know, is that Doug owns close to 100 rental properties, no mortgage on them. Like Doug could never work a day in his life again. He could be on a beach in Tahiti somewhere. And he loves real estate, wakes up every day. And we talk on the phone about how we can provide a better solution, better customer service, how we can sharpen our tools to be the best that we possibly can be. Because if you're not growing, you're dying.
Right.
It's an obsession for him that he loves to be around. It's an energy that is contagious, that you just have to be continuously sharpening your edge. It's an absolute blast.
Yeah.
Most people, most of those slimy guys, they're trying to get that next deal, right? So bad. Sorry, I have a call coming in. I got to reject it.
Yeah.
They're just fighting for that next deal, and they're sacrificing their integrity and their namesake for one commission.
Yeah.
And man, it's just not worth it. You have to look at a big picture like Doug's career, where he's been in the business almost 30 years buying homes and has a great reputation for it. So
over 30 years, that's a lot of opportunities to screw people, right?
Oh my God.
And he's taken the higher ground on it. And you said people looking for the next deal. I can't remember who says it. There's a book or something that I just read the other day, and I thought it was perfect for our business. There are real friends and there are deal friends. Okay. Yep. And Doug definitely falls in the category of real friends. I mean, he's the kind of guy, when you meet him, you're like, God, I'd love to just sit down and have a beer with this guy and pick his brain. And the funny thing is, he would do it in a heartbeat with just about anybody.
Oh yeah. He's super down to earth. That's the number one call that we get is Doug just seems like a normal guy.
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. He lives in a home that's worth less than mine. He's driven the same car for like 5 years. The guy goes to his same neighborhood hangout place. He goes to his local moose lodge, and he'll go have a $2 beer. He loves it.
I believe it, man.
Doug is a really good dude.
Yeah. So okay, we'll quit talking about him for a second, but he's a hard guy not to talk to, because he really is a great guy to have in our industry. Now let's talk about the team. Let's dial in on the team a little bit. I know you're the team leader, and you have how many agents working for you at this point?
We only have 3. So
3. Okay.
And a lot of people ask, well, why would you only have 3 people underneath you? We actually just let one guy go. And the reason is because we are a huge advocate of less is more. I would rather have one agent making a huge life, doing 50 transactions, 60 transactions a year, than, 50 agents all doing 1 or so transaction a year, all causing a bunch of headaches, right?
100%. Deeper rather than wider.
Totally.
Right? When it comes to running a team. I've always thought that the best measure of success of a team, and when I ran my own brokerage, owned my own brokerage, and my team wasn't how many deals a brokerage or a team does or what the volume is. How many deals per agent are they doing? Okay. Totally. I always felt like that was, and I mean, you guys have agents on your, what do you think the average is? 40, 50 deals an agent on your team a year?
That's the trajectory that we're on. Again, I'm super bluntly honest when it comes to statistics and numbers. Lots of people inflate them. I did 96 transactions before we started the team a year. And this year, the last 12 months since we really started, their first closings were in September. So I guess it's really been like 10 months. We're at 134 transactions.
Wow.
As a team. And that's at a time where we started this team when most teams were shrinking, right? Mm-hmm. So Zillow shut down lots of their leads, interest rates started climbing. So lots of leads were becoming really scarce, right? Mm-hmm. So we started our team, argue it, one of the harder times that we've seen in this market in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So we've been able to increase our numbers just from mine to, 3 other guys underneath me, and we're up, 34% from there. And obviously as the market, rates eventually continue to go down, as we continue to scale and build, we want to be way more. We want to be getting, 200, 250 transactions a year. We want to be at that, 50, 60 transactions per agent.
Yeah. So you're still in production as the team leader. You're out there doing listing appointments and you're selling houses still.
Yeah. Me and Doug have had at length conversations about it. Doug, and not to continuously bring up Doug, Doug still goes to appointments. Doug still goes to appointments on a daily basis. And most team leaders, most owners, most whatever real estate people want to get out of production as fast as possible. They don't want to pick up the phone. They don't want to drive to people's homes. They don't want to get face to face with people. And that's why they're not successful. You become detached from clients. You become detached from your team. And because you're not plugged in, you don't know how to adapt and move. So if I'm plugged in, I produce more than any of my guys, because I want to be in there and see what they're seeing, see how the market's changing and adapting, and we're changing that pitch. We're changing and providing different solutions to be able to help people, right? Like one of the big changes is there's a lot of homes that are out of date that are on the market, right? We're paying, fronting the money to do carpet and paint for lots of our sellers right now. So we're providing other things for folks to say, hey, you understand you wanted the cash offer. We can't quite get there with what you need. We'll front the money for you to do carpet and paint, and you can pay us back at close of escrow.
Wow.
Right. So
that's that outside of the box stuff, man.
Exactly. So, and again, we wouldn't think of these types of programs and ideas if I was just trying to throw as many bodies in this team as possible. I could have 50 agents here, helping sellers. I would way rather have 3 guys that I would trust my life with, and to be able to say, hey, this is a really tight-knit family. We want you to crush it. We want you to make, to change your life. Here's the blueprint. Here's the transactions that we have a goal for you to do. We want to help you get rental properties. We want to help you, set up your LLCs, 401k. It's not just, hey, I need as many bodies on my team as possible to call the phone book, right? It's a completely different scenario.
It's a career path. You're providing a career, not a position on a team, which is huge, man. I mean, and what I love most about what you said, there's a couple things that really jump out at me. The fact that you're in production, and not just in production, but selling 70, 80, 90, 100 homes personally still a year. And then you didn't bring, or you brought people on for the right reasons. You're leading with revenue, which is a huge, huge thing that I coach with my people. You wouldn't believe some of the phone calls I get from people when they say, hey, I'm thinking of starting a team. And I start asking the questions. Okay. And what it generally comes down to, probably in 90% of the cases, by the time they're done talking to me, they don't want anything to do with starting a team, because I tell them honestly what it really means. Okay. And the reason is I can tell within 30 seconds, what the real reason is for them wanting to join or start a team. And usually when you really drill down and you get granular with them and start asking them the questions, it comes down to they just don't want to work as much. That's the biggest reason.
They want more time, right?
They want more time. So they think they're going to go out and hire a bunch of mini me's. And, these might be people that are selling 30 or 40 homes a year. So they're busy and they want to spend more time with their family and so forth. I get that. Okay. But you can't just pull out of production. Like you said, the people on that team need to have something to aspire to. Okay. And the other big thing that happens with teams that I've worked with that have been around for a while, the team leader's been out there hustling, and then all of a sudden he gets or she gets lazy and doesn't want to work as hard. It just brings the whole, well, if he's not going to do it, then, you're not that shining star for him. And
totally.
Then what happens is that's when the questions start coming in of, well, I want to renegotiate my splits. Okay. And I'll tell people, if an agent surpasses you as the team leader in production, or if the agent is bringing in more personal business, their own stuff without your assistance, then why wouldn't you work with them to give them a fairer split? That's why they leave.
The value, right?
Yeah, there's no value for them there. That's exactly right. Or there's less value than when they started. That's the wrong direction to go. As a team lead, you should, and a broker or owner, you should always be trying to provide more value. Those are your
Yeah.
customers. You know, as the owner or the team leader, you, Dylan, have two customers. You have the agents underneath you, and you have your clients that you're out there servicing.
Totally.
And you got to make them all happy. And, you know, it's something that a lot of people don't understand getting. I literally had a call the other day that just blew my mind. The guy called and said, "Hey, I'm thinking of starting a team." And I said, "Well, tell me about, you know, where you're at numbers wise and what's making you start the team." He goes, "Well, haven't really, you know, right now." I said, "Where are you in the process? Do you have a team agreement? Do you have?" "No, I don't even know what that is." But he said, we did get our logo designed and our hats and hoodie sweatshirts printed up already. And I'm like, "And you don't even have a team agreement?"
Yeah.
I mean, there's just, people are just, they just don't understand. It kind of goes back to what I was saying about the sellers. They don't know what they don't know. And but it's one of those, don't get me started, I'll be here all day. But it's so refreshing to hear someone start talking about, you know, leading with revenue and staying in production. Those are just key concepts. And the longer you can stay in that production, obviously that boots on the ground knowledge you have, they're going to listen to you, right? Just like Doug out there still doing appointments himself. He's got enough money in the bank where he could go take off and go to his cabin all summer long. But I'm sure, you know, then he'd miss his Suns games or Diamondback games or his time at the Moose Lodge and all that too. So, so real quick, I mean, opportunities. Let's let you talk about the team a little more, about like what kind of, I know the opportunities that you guys offer. The biggest one is as far as leads go, it's people calling in. Those are, I mean, with the money that Doug's spending on advertising and everything, that's generating a ton of inbound leads and listing appointments, that sort of thing. Where else are you guys getting business from?
Our name is huge. We have
Mhm.
a lot of repeat business. And what, as I mentioned before, the agent referral partners, right? That's massive. So
Mhm.
anybody that's wondering, well, how can I be a part of this? You know, this is a great brand. I want to be able to rub shoulders with the Doug Hopkins team. I want to be able to get some of that value. The first and foremost, the easiest way is to give us a call and be one of our agent partners, right? We can provide you with that cash offer solution and help you be more of a well-rounded agent, right?
Mhm.
That's first and foremost.
Okay.
And second for opportunity is, you know, we're going to continue to grow and expand. There's going to be a time where I'm ready to get another individual in here.
Mhm.
So if you feel like you're that right person, reach out. But I'll tell you this, it is not for everybody.
Right.
Most
You're gonna
real
work.
estate agents, I told my guys, I shook their hand and I looked them right in the eyes and I'm like, I want everything.
Yep.
And they said, well, what do you mean? I want your time. I want your focus. I want your dreams. I want every bit of energy that you have to do this. Because if I don't have it, you're not the right fit. And
Yeah.
I looked some people in the eye and said, we're not a good fit for you. You know,
Mhm.
they were talking about time and wanting their time back and being able to leverage and all these things. And as soon as I hear that, I know you don't want it bad enough.
Right. Right.
You got to want it so bad. I want people that have all the energy and motivation and talent in the world, and they just need an opportunity. I don't want people that think that they know it all and can't wait to do 3 transactions and take the rest of the month off.
Yeah.
I need people that get to do 3, meet with, you know, I have 3 transactions and it's the first week of July. And you want people that go, man, we're just scratching the surface. I need to meet with more sellers. I need to help them see our value. I want to be able to help the value. And
Mhm.
that's not everyone.
Yeah.
Most people quit their corporate job and become a real estate agent for the time factor, right? They want to get their time back. They want to be able to scroll into the office at 10 and take 2-week-long vacations. And that's just not what's happening. I didn't take a vacation for years. Like
Yeah.
It's a totally different perspective when you really want to be a part of something, or you just want to be there. You know, I have a lot of people that reach out, hey, I'd love to join your team part-time or this or that or the other. I don't have a spot for you right now.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
That dog don't hunt at the Doug Hopkins team part-time. That's no, that doesn't work. What about mentoring and training? When you're training these guys, you know, one thing I see out there is you've got team leaders that tell people what to do, and you've got team leaders that show people what to do. And that's a big difference out there.
Yeah. So we brought on each person individually. We didn't just bring them all on at once.
Yep.
And their training was being with me for 30 days.
It's like an apprenticeship program.
Absolutely. I said, what we do is unlike any other real estate team out there. I'm not going to give you a 90-day handbook and say, figure it out. Here's your first 90 days as being a part of our team. And I'm not dogging anybody that does that.
Right.
But you are going to see everything right from my perspective. They're in appointments with me. So they come in and they see the objections, they see the solutions that are provided, they see the creativity out there, and making sure that we can provide all those different solutions out there, some of which I would have never thought to do this or that or the other, or provide this solution out there. And that's because they have to put themselves in the seller's shoes. Right. So anyway,
yeah,
that's the training model, is being
Love
out
it.
there and getting them see it. And that's the same way that Doug trained me. I never got any sort of training model. He kicked my can out to the curb and he said, go figure it out. Here,
Right.
come to a couple of appointments with me, and the rest is history. Right.
That's where you learn the business, man. You learn it by going to appointments, shadowing, mentoring.
Yep.
I
call it at bats.
Yeah, that's right, man. That's exactly what they are. They're all at bats. And you look at other trades and industries, they all have, hell, even the, home inspectors. I mean, they have to go through a certain amount of hours of apprenticeship, so to speak, before they're actually allowed to do it. Here in the real estate industry, they say, here's your license, go represent people on the biggest purchase of their life, and you're just clueless. So it blows my mind that we don't have, some sort of a mandatory apprenticeship program. It's no wonder that 87% of licensees don't renew their license after 2 years, because most of them either try to go do it alone on an island by themselves, or they join a crappy team that basically says, here's the keys to the office, the bathroom's down the hall, here's your login to whatever dialing program, start dialing numbers and let me know if you have any questions. And I mean, I had one not long ago. I ran into an agent, not with, the brokerage I'm at now, not with my home group, but basically said, I asked, why'd you leave that team? It's a pretty big team. They said, well, I've been there a year and a half, and the only time I've seen the team leader was the day I got hired. In a year and a half. That's crazy. That is not running a team. That's just factory. Okay. Real quick, because I know we're running out of time, but how do you hold your agents accountable, Dillon?
Good question. We have standards of excellence with, appointment to contract ratios.
Yep.
We have contract to close ratios. So we're tracking their cancellation rate. We're tracking reviews. You and I have talked a lot about this at the link off video, but we measure a lot. We do have a lot of key indicators, a lot of key metrics that we're looking at to make sure that individuals are performing. And the key reason of why is because of our name. Doug Hopkins means something to us.
Right.
And so if you aren't getting back to people, if you aren't providing the solutions in the best way possible to help and be an advocate and be solutions motivated, solutions based, you're not the right fit.
Right.
So it's imperative that those are measured.
I think the biggest problem, again, most teams have is they focus so much on the results and not the activities. Okay. We should be holding our agents and our team members and ourselves accountable to the activities that produce the results. Because if you do the activities, the results will come. And
Definitely.
so often team leaders just say, well, the team goal this year was 100 homes and we're halfway through the year and we've only sold 30. Let's get our asses in gear. And then you ask them, okay, well, how many calls are your agents making on average per day? How many contacts are they making? How many appointments are they setting? How many appointments are they going on? How many open houses are they sitting? And they just sit there and look at you like, I have no idea. Well, how do you expect them to hit numbers if you're not focusing on accountability for the activities that produce the results, right? They get it all backwards. Lastly, what do you do? There's four main things that agents are looking for to join a team. They're looking for the opportunities, which we've already hit on, the leads, the mentoring and the training, which obviously you provide that, and then the accountability. But the last thing that they're looking for is they want to be a part of something. They want that camaraderie. What do you guys do to make people feel like they're a part of the team, other than just training them on how to sell homes?
Yeah. Well, we have weekly meetings over Zoom. We have a text thread where we're celebrating successes. Every single transaction that new contracts that signed or closed escrow, everybody gets an email. So we're celebrating a ton of successes, positive reviews. I mean, we're shouting from the rooftops, praising, filling buckets. Hey, agent, intake member, transaction coordinator, you crushed it. You did an amazing job. And it's this positive, group that we're just continually building each other up over and over and over. And then we have weekly meetings where we're going over weak points of, hey, this is something that we need to hammer out. This has got to be done. This has got to accomplish. Other than that, we meet and watch sports together at Doug's place each quarter. Actually, today we're meeting at the Hub and we're going over quarter two and the first half of the year with our goals and to see how we're stacking and how we're measuring up and where we're doing great and where some of those weaknesses are and how we can provide, better options for people. Right. And big thing is at the end of every year, we do a huge trip. Last year, Doug paid for everybody to go on a cruise and we all got on a cruise ship together and we went out for, 3-4 days and got to rub shoulders with, each other's families, significant others, and spend quality time. So it's more of a family than anything else. I mean, you're plugged in, we're working 7 days a week, but there's extracurriculars outside of that for sure.
Yeah, that's where the magic happens. That's where the bond takes place, right? When I ran my brokerage and our team and that it was very social. Okay. And most of the time our events were at our house because they were like family. They were like my kids to me. And it's running a team is like being a parent. I mean, a lot, you're learning a lot right now for those. You've got 3 little kids, right?
Yep. I just had my 3rd little girl, man.
That's right. So you're getting a lot of practice for when they get older, by working with these guys. Well, Dillon, I don't have anything else for you today. Is there anything that you wanted to, how do people get a hold of you if they want to talk to you about being a part of this great experience that you guys offer on the Doug Hopkins team?
Yeah, I give people 3 ways. You can go on Instagram or Facebook and look up Dillon A. Martin, Dillon A. Martin, or you can send me an email at Dillon, Dillon, at DougHopkins.com, or give me a call. Call me at 480-498-8000. That's my cell phone number. And love to answer any questions that you guys have. Again, if you want to start out just being an agent partner with us and providing a cash offer solution, awesome. Love to have you. Please give me a call. I can give you more details. If joining the team is something that you're, crazy enough to want to possibly do and join the brotherhood, awesome. Give me a call. We might not have a spot for you right now, but one could open up soon and we'd be happy to have you.
Yeah, it sounds like a fun, exciting place to work, especially if you want to get after it, work hard and make money in the process. Well, I don't have anything else here. If anyone has any questions for me, obviously, you know how to reach me, Bob Hertzog Coaching, bob@bobhertzogcoaching.com. My cell 602-909-5994. And also, if you would like to book a call with me, there'll be some details down below where you can book a spot on my calendar to chat with me about what's going on with your team, and, you know, any solutions I might have for you for that. Also, if you'd like to be a part of this podcast, and if you're a team leader, someone that's running a team or a broker, and you'd like to get on, we're going to be coming out with these once a week with various people that I've met in the industry that I think are doing it right, that we can all learn from. So thanks again for taking the time, Dillon. I really appreciate it. I know you're a busy guy, and for those of you that took the time to watch us today, thank you for hanging in there with us, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.